I just really just have to start off with a clap. And I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes, I'm talking about you. My go-getters who have been riding with me since I started this and checking in on Wednesdays and other days that you get a chance to listen in. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You're far too kind, and you are indeed the real MVP. It is me. It is I, ADRI.V, the Go Getta. And as I have said before, since August, each and every Wednesday, welcome to the G Code, and this is the final Wednesday for the year of 2015. Oh my goodness. It just really just blows my mind that this year is coming to an end. Like, it went by so fast. I feel like I looked up one moment and it was here, and then in a blink of an eye, it is gone. And so me, ADRI.V, the Go Getta, I just want to say thank you again for checking in and listening to the G Code. And I really hope that it has moved you, changed you, motivated you, pushed you, and gave you a different insight or viewpoint on how to see and handle life. Well, you know, with this being the last G Code of the year, I feel like it would be only right for me to give you a recap, you know, for me to give you some of the codes over this year that I have learned from the featured go-getters who have participated, and even just talk about how just listening to their G codes have helped me and gave me some input in my life, you know. So first and foremost, I want to say make sure you follow and subscribe to the G Code on iTunes as well as YouTube, SoundCloud, and Podcast Addict. You can download those apps to your cellular device so that you can always have them. You can find them, of course, on the World Wide Web. And you can check in with the G Code at www.adrivthegogetta.com. Yes, my website. It is always there for you as well. And if you would like to leave a review on iTunes, a comment on YouTube, as well as SoundCloud, feel free to do so. And share, spread the love, the links on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, everything that you can share with the world. Please, come on, do me a favor and share that. So, you know, as we close off 2015, I have just really been thinking like, man, what am I going to talk about for this G Code, right? And I figured, you know, let's talk about living in the truth. First and foremost, I started the G Code in the month of August, and I started it in the month of August because it's being the 8th month, signifies new beginnings, and that's what the number 8 is all about. And so I started my new beginnings, my new year technically, in August because I started afresh and I started with something new. And each and every Wednesday, I have brought to you a featured go-getter who I've watched from afar or known personally and seen how they have made major changes in their life or took drastic jumps and decided to walk by faith and not by sight, or just really had a sense of belief in self enough that they were able to jump in and turn their dreams into reality. And that's why I seen them as so important of being a major player and a key component in the G Code as they share their own G codes with you. And so as I sat and I thought about what to talk about, you know, I also thought about, am I going to do a New Year's resolution this year? And I just was like, absolutely not. My only resolution for the year of 2016 and to walk into it with is simple. Just jump and do it. It is so simple. And I got this idea by listening to my featured go-getters. Okay, so you know, throughout the year, starting with the month of August, I had a chance to interview Michelle Barron. And if you have yet to hear that G Code interview, make sure you go check it out. Of course, I have them all for you there. But her situation was pretty much taking a tragic situation and turning it into a triumphant one. And for me, the G codes I took from her was never quitting and giving up, and to keep the fight going, and to always do it with class. She carried herself with dignity and pride and kept her head up during a time where you thought she would have broken down and lost it all. But indeed, in fact, she gained it all, where she created this network called Women in the Spotlight Going Global, where every year you're empowering women to achieve their dreams of becoming entrepreneurs. You're guiding young women as well, and you're bringing forth other women who have reached those goals to come out to speak at a brunch and to impart in other women. And just through Women in the Spotlight Going Global, I got a chance to link up and meet with a phenomenal woman by the name of Dia Sims, and you should definitely look her up, but she's very dope. She's the president of Sean Combs Wine and Spirits, and because of Michelle Barron, who decided to not give up and to take a tragic situation and turn it into triumph one, and to take the lemons that life gave her and she made chocolate cake, she developed the Women in the Spotlight Going Global. And that G code is one that I really look at as a ground, not even as a ground, as a foundation, because so many times in life we will get thrown things at us and it's just like, man, maybe I should just go that away or run away, instead of just saying, hey, how do I build from what is giving to me at this moment? And I so applaud her for the changes that she is making in her community and, you know, things that's going to happen globally. And then I think about my man Tim B, a young man from my hometown, Buffalo, stand up, who had a dream of being a stylist, always was a stylish young man, and you definitely should check out his G code, and decided to take a gamble and leave school and to jump out to take a gig that he didn't even know would be a solidified one. And that gig happened to be with the Queen Bee. No, I'm not talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about the original Queen Bee, Little Kim. And he, to this day, is still her stylist after a couple years now, and is making so many connections and transforming his life. And the G code I take for him is not being afraid to give up what you have to get what you want. And so many times we're holding on to things that is just like, man, well, maybe I just need to go to school. And of course, that is what we all say. When he came to me before, talked about it, I said, look, you know, you can always come back to go to school, but sometimes these opportunities are not always there for you. And he jumped and made it happen. How many of us is willing to do that? To take a gamble on yourself and to bet on yourself. So salute to my man Tim B for that. And also, you know, I'm not going in an order of what they were, but I have to shout out my girl, Kristen Carter. Kristen Carter came into the G Code, and I've always admired her. I got a chance to intern under her when I was interning at BET with the show The Black Carpet, and she's always been a diligent worker. And I constantly seen that her consistency in her work and an ability to transform herself within her work and to keep moving with it always landed her in positions that allowed her the chance to grow. From working with shows like American Best Dance Crew, from working on the OWN network, to many of the award shows, you know, being a writer and a contributor, she has allowed her career to progress to where she's now putting on her own movies and her own TV series. So, you know, salute to Kristen Carter. And a G code, you know, that I've taken from her is to be consistent and to most definitely, you know, believe in yourself. And I mean, that is something we can all take from and see with the feature go-getters that I have, you know. And as I, you know, go down the line and I look at Nicole Douglas, she is a woman who literally had a son while she was in high school, took her son with her, went on to college, realized that college wasn't for her, moved out of the state where all her family was to be by herself with just her and her son, and graduate on time with honors, become an accountant for a Fortune 500 company, decide to walk away from that place and to start her own business, and that she has thriving in an office in 2 cities. Who knew that this woman, where the status quo say and statistics say that she's not supposed to make it because she has had a child while she was in high school, but let alone took that kid with her to college, moved out of state, was by herself, and also has raised this young man to be an outstanding young man who has also graduated from college and will be moving forward in his own career as well. You know, for her, I take the G code of, I will not be a statistic. When you make up in your mind that you will not meet what others may see for you, that you see greater for yourself, no one can stop you. And indeed, she is definitely unstoppable. I got a chance to chop it up with Mr. Amadeus, who is a hit producer. He has worked with the best of them, from Mariah Carey to, of course, P. Diddy, and the list goes on and on. And he shared the story about almost being left out, well, pretty much being left out of receiving credits for a song that he produced. And what's so great that I learned about him is how to handle every situation. He could have made it a big hoopla, like he said, but, he took the necessary steps to address it. But later on, it really played for his good because it was a learning lesson. His G codes that I took away was most definitely being patient. Patience is a virtue. And he talked about how he diligently and consistently would just really work hard on his craft and constantly grind. And one, you give yourself a name that you believe will be a manifestation in the future. His company is called Platinum Boy Music, and he gave it and created it because he wanted to create platinum records. And that is indeed what he did. And I had the honor of being able to get in on the G code, a gentleman that was like a big brother to me in college, Mr. Deliador. And he broke so many barriers while we were in college and continued to do so, but has been very instrumental behind great brands and continued to evolve his career even when layoffs happen and things got shifted around. And what I learned from his G code is that you have to continue to always evolve and to better yourself in your industry, continuously learning and continuously revamping yourself so that you can stay ahead of the game and on top of the game. And networking, Della, I feel like, is the king of networking. And you definitely got to check out his G code because he drops so much knowledge on it. And as I move forward and being able to talk to dope artists and individuals who play for some dope people, like my girl Joy the drummer, who was on Making His Band with Diddy and then became the band with Beyonce, okay? She is now the official drummer for Beyonce. And I just look at it from, you went from not making his band to making her band, and how she continued to remain consistent, continued to remain diligent, and prepared herself for the opportunity. And that is indeed what happened. Shout out to my girl Joy the drummer. She's so dope. And even my homie Miss Zuri Appleby, who is a bassist for Nick Jonas. Again, women consistently working on their craft, consistently preparing themselves for the next opportunity, not knowing where it's coming from or how it's going to happen, but being ready. Their G codes about being ready, staying ready, so you ain't gotta get ready, is definitely one you need to listen to because they drop so many more codes within that. Down to the young girl, Miss Zandra Cunningham. She is a young entrepreneur. Started her own business when she was only 7. Might have been a little bit younger than that. And she is thriving in it. Her dad simply told her that he was not buying her no more lip gloss. And he told her, make your own. And she said, okay, I'll do that. And her lip balm is one of my favorite lip balms to use, so make sure you check her out. And that's at Zandra Beauty. But Zandra Cunningham is a G code you definitely would like to have your younger siblings listen to about creating an entrepreneurial mindset. And one of her G codes was sacrifice. Being a young girl who should be out probably having fun and enjoying her friends and not really having to take business classes at UB, and being one of the youngest who attended, she has sacrificed a lot to reach where she is. And now she's creating a balance for her life so that she can have fun and work hard. Play hard and work hard. Zandra definitely is a gem, and you want to be able to check out that G code. As well as Alexis Spite, who is one of the winners from Sunday's Best on BET. Her story of not giving up and keeping the faith is one that you want to listen to as she drops so many G codes. As well as Miss Ariane Simone, who is a true entrepreneur and a publicist who has worked with the best of them, from pushing movies like Coach Carter to This Christmas, and the list goes on. And she definitely dropped many G codes about being nice and sweet as she is, and how consistency is definitely key. And of course, I gotta shout out my fellow BET interns, Brittany V, who was featured on The Own with Too Fat to Fly, and is also a brand strategist and has her own business with the branding bar. My girl, Miss Zenova King, who was also worked in PR and worked with the artist YG and curated and created her own lane with a group of other phenomenal young women. And now they do this event everywhere they go. Definitely in Los Angeles to New York, happening at the BET Awards, happening during the All-Star weekend, and it's called 40 Ounce of Waffles, a dope event that you should definitely be on the lookout for. And as I even ended all my recap with me having the honor to interview a man that I've watched constantly on YouTube, a man that I live by his words, that I knew his story before I ever got a chance to talk to him, Mr. Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, which was a dream come true. And in his G code, man, he dropped so many and gave me the real secret to success, which is actually getting sleep, people, okay? Sleep is for suckers, but you gotta sleep according to what he said. That was a good tip. And I just must say that this year overall, inside the G code, has been a phenomenal year. You know, I set forth to create something that I was looking for myself. I'm a huge in motivation and inspiration and being able to have it on a daily basis. You know, I listen to a Zig Ziglar and a Les Brown and Jim Rohn and all these different people. But one thing that Zig Ziglar said to me like he was talking to me, said in a message one time, was that motivation is like taking a shower. You need it every day. And for me, I wanted to hear stories of people who got a chance to experience the pretty, the ugly, and a grind to success. And what I mean by that is that there's the pretty, right? The pretty is me being able to see you posted up on Instagram, social media, you're out at events, you got it together, your hair look nice, toes is right. Gentlemen, you got on a nice suit. Ladies, you got on a beautiful dress, the matching bag, and you're just flossing. You're at the top events, hanging with the top people. You see, this is a pretty. But there's an ugliness to success. You see, nobody get a chance to see the ugly of when you're getting a no and you're getting doors slammed in your face and people are backstabbing you and stealing your records. You know, it's similar to what Amadeus had experienced, or not giving you fair pay, or treating you in a way that you know you shouldn't be treated, and you know, you having to sleep on someone's bed, or you having to grind to the point where you're sleeping in a car. And you know, these are some of the ugly things, even worse, that has occurred if you listen to the G code, that people experience. And of course, the grind, sleepless nights, constantly being in the studio, constantly going from one place to the next to drive to your next event to host it, not having no money to eat. You know, Zenobia spoke about when she went to LA for an interview, all she had was $500 and she was determined to stay, and then later on had to send $400 back to her family. She made it happen. She was not leaving, and she was not about to give up on her dreams and her goals. You see, these are the grind. But then the ugliness produces, the ugliness and the grind produces the success. Because you've gained so much in those struggle times of learning how to grind and what to do, that it produces you and pushes you to a success level of where you're able to look back and say, if it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't be here. And you reaching and achieving the goal that you set out for. The pretty, the ugly, and a grind to success always lead to a G code, because during it all, you've learned a lesson. You learn what to lean on, you learn what not to do, and you learn what you should always do. And for me, I needed to reach out to these people to create this avenue, one for myself. Maybe it was a selfish thing for me to create this podcast, because I wanted to hear these stories of people to see if they were going through like I was going through, right? To see, man, am I going crazy because I feel like I am beating my head against something and it may not be happening how I want it? And to learn that so many of these people dealt with things in that magnitude but still were able to reach that success level. And I knew that I couldn't be the only one yearning and longing to listen to this information and to learn from everybody else's story, because we all have one. But I just wanted to be able to do it and bring it to you on a weekly basis. And then to keep the things up there, so if you ever need to go back to hear somebody else's story and their G code, you will have it as a reminder. And I just must say that over this time of having the G code and listening to all these stories, it pushed me to a place for my 2016. And I'm so excited to say that, I've preached to so many people about being a go-getter. Of course, the G code is all about that. Your G code. What are your go-getter codes for success? Your G codes, right? And so I remember Brittany, recently we did an interview with her, Brittany B, definitely check it out. She talked about how she took a severance check. And she talked about how she took that check and she went to Atlanta with it. And she was determined to make it happen in Atlanta. And she jumped out and operated by faith. And the story is a bit more detailed than what I'm giving you. But her story motivated me and pushed me so to a place that one day I woke up and I said, okay, I'm going to live in my truth. I preach to people all the time about being a go-getter and going after your dreams and living in it wholeheartedly and waking up and doing it every morning. But every morning I wasn't waking up and doing what I love to do. Every morning I woke up and I did something else first. And then after I did what I did, I had to go do what I love to do. Or sometimes I woke up early enough to do what I love to do. And then I had to go to my 9 to 5, my next job. And I told myself, you're not living a truth. How can you push someone else to be a go-getter and to do what you love to do every day of your life if that's not what you're doing wholeheartedly? And so being able to listen to all these stories of my go-getters and listen to my featured people to share their truths led me to yet another one of my truths. That in 2016, I will be walking in doing exactly what I love to do every day of my life with no apologies. And I am so excited to make this jump and grow wings on the way down and to allow my own self to soar high as an eagle and to know that I will make it because I'm betting on myself and I'm walking by faith and not by sight, and that I'm going into this full throttle. How exciting is that? So I've decided, like I said earlier in the podcast, no, I'm not creating a New Year's resolution. Every year I've created New Year's resolutions. But this year my only New Year's resolution is to jump in 2016 and to just do everything and anything I put my mind to do and just stay committed. How simple is that? But how hard could it be to ensure that I'm actually making that happen? So my go-getters, I wanted to give you a recap of what the year has been and how excited I am that you lent me your ear each and every Wednesday to allow me and my featured go-getters to impart something into you, and how precious and awesome it is that you decided to subscribe, that you decided to support me, and I want you to know I so appreciate you. And going into the new year, I have some exciting things happening, some new adventures, some new things to keep us connected, and man, 2016 is going to be one for the books, and I know it's going to be one for the books for you. So I ask you yet again to make sure you subscribe to me on iTunes, SoundCloud, on YouTube, as well as Podcast Addict, so that we can stay connected and you can always get fed the G code. And don't forget to make sure you visit www.ADRI.V.com because the G codes are always there. And I really just hope moving into 2016 that you decide to live in your truth and that you decide to wake up every morning doing what you love to do. It's a beautiful thing, and I've got a chance to experience it every weekend. But I'm excited that soon I will be experiencing it every day. And as we embark on this journey to gain more and learn more, I'm happy to know that there will be more G codes to come. And every Wednesday, I will continue to give it to you, the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. So happy holidays to all my go-getters. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and check out all the G codes. If you need to do a catch-up and you're new to this, go ahead and subscribe and listen to them all, because I promise you each and every one of them gives great G codes, great lessons, and is teaching you so much more than any book can. That's just my opinion, okay? Well, I love you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or Snapchat if you're on Pinterest, LinkedIn. Me at all things ADRI.V, the Go Getta, A to the D, R to the I-V, THEGOGETTA. And I just want to say, like I always say, welcome to the G Code.